Hello everyone! I am Sir King John Hawk Pasqua, but you can call me Sir King of Padepada National High School. And today, we will gonna talk all about grade 9 mathematics. Are you ready? Before we start, make sure you are in a comfortable place and please ready your self-learning module, your notebook and pen.
Our lesson for today is how to solve quadratic equation by extracting square roots, factoring, completing the square, and then using the quadratic formula. But in this video, we will gonna focus on how to solve quadratic equation by completing the square. So without further ado, let us now solve quadratic equations by completing the square. Here's our strategy for solving quadratic equation by completing the square. First, write the equation in the form ax squared plus bx is equal to c, wherein the a is equal to 1. But if a is not equal to 1, then we will divide each side of the equation by a. Next, add to each side of the equation the square of 1/2 the coefficient of x, or the b, to make the left side of the equation a perfect square. So later on, I will gonna teach you how to do that. Then number 3, express the left hand side of the equation as a square of binomial. Then number 4, extract the square root of each side of the equation by writing the double sign of the number at the right side or at the right hand side of the equation. And then let us now solve for x. And after solving the x, we will gonna check the answer in the original equation. So how do you determine the constant or the number that must be added to the left side of the equation to make it a perfect square? And here's how to do that. We have here a quadratic expression. Then we will find out what is the number to be added. We have x squared plus 8x plus blank. So the first step is determine the coefficient of x, or the b. So the coefficient of x, we will gonna find that on this expression, and the coefficient of x is the number beside x, which is 8. Therefore, the coefficient of x is 8. Then we will gonna substitute this 8 in this formula. 1/2 b quantity squared. So 1/2 multiplied by 8 quantity squared. And then let us solve that. We will gonna come up to the answer of 16. So the number to be added in this expression to make it a perfect square is 16. Then second example, x squared minus 10x plus blank. So the first thing we need to do is find the coefficient of x, which is negative 10. Substitute this negative 10 in this formula, and we will have 1/2 multiplied by negative 10 quantity squared. So negative 10 multiplied by 1/2 is negative 5, and the square of negative 5 is 25. How about this one? X squared plus 5x plus blank. So let us determine the coefficient of x. We will have 5. Then when we substitute 5 in this formula, we can come up to this. And then when we solve this, the answer is 4/25. Therefore, to make this expression a perfect square, we will add 4/25. Take note, the first step is determine the b, then substitute the b in this formula, and then solve. So that is the number to be added in this expression to make it a perfect square. It is now time to solve the roots of x squared minus 2x minus 2 is equal to 0, where a is equal to 1 by the use of completing the square. So the first thing that you need to do is separate the constant from the terms containing x. And there you go. All the constant is on the right side, and all the term contains x, it is on the left side. Then add 1 to the both sides of the equation because that makes the left side a perfect square. So x squared minus 2x plus 1 is equal to 2 plus 1. Next, express the left side of the equation as a square of binomial, or simply factor the left side. And there you go. X minus 1 quantity squared is equal to 3. Then it is time to extract the roots. So the square root of x minus 1 quantity squared is equal to positive or negative square root of 3. And then it is now time to solve for x. X minus 1 is equal to positive or negative square root of 3. And we'll have an answer, x is equal to 1 plus or minus square root of 3. So the roots are 1 plus square root of 3 and 1 minus square root of 3. Now to check if our answers are correct, we will gonna substitute the values of x in the original equation. X squared minus 2x minus 2 is equal to 0. First, if x is equal to 1 plus square root of 3, let us now substitute. And there you go. 1 plus square root of 3 quantity squared minus 2 multiplied by 1 plus square root of 3 minus 2 is equal to 0. So 1 plus 2 square root of 3 plus 3 minus 2 minus 2 square root of 3 minus 2. Is it 0? Then by combining like terms, we have here positive 2 square root of 3 and negative 2 square root of 3. So when we add them, we will have 0. So we will just cancel them, and then we have 1 plus 3 minus 2 is equal to 0. So 1 plus 3 is 4, minus 2 is 2, and then another minus 2 is 0. Therefore 0 is equal to 0. The first root is x is equal to 1 plus square root of 3, and we are correct. How about the other root? X is equal to 1 minus square root of 3. Let us substitute. So 1 minus square root of 3 quantity squared minus 2 multiplied by 1 minus square root of 3 minus 2 is equal to 0. So 1 minus 2 square root of 3 plus 3 minus 2 plus 2 square root of 3 minus 2 is equal to 0. Then by combining like terms, we have here negative 2 square root of 3 and positive 2 square root of 3. So when we add them, we will have 0. So let us just cancel them. And then 1 plus 3 minus 2 is equal to 0. So 0 is equal to 0. Therefore, the roots are 1 minus square root of 3 and 1 plus square root of 3. In the equation, x squared minus 2x minus 2 is equal to 0. Let us now find the roots of 2x squared plus 8x minus 10 is equal to 0, where a is not equal to 1. The first thing we need to do is divide both sides by a, which is our a is 2. So we will gonna divide both sides of the equation by 2. And then simplest form, we will have x squared plus 4x minus 5 is equal to 0. And then separate the constant from terms containing x. So the term containing x is on the left side, and the constant is on the right side. And then add 4 to the both sides of the equation to make the left side a perfect square trinomial. We have x squared plus 4x plus 4 is equal to 5 plus 4. And then express the left side of the equation as a square of binomial, or simply factor the left side. We have x plus 2 quantity squared is equal to 9. And then it's now time to extract the square root. The square root of x plus 2 quantity squared is equal to positive or negative square root of 9. And then solve for x. We have x plus 2 is equal to positive or negative 3. And then x is equal to negative 2 plus or minus 3. And then let us first use the plus 3. So x is equal to negative 2 plus 3, and that is 1. So 1 is the first root, and the second root is when we use the negative 3. So x minus 2 minus 3, and that is negative 4. Therefore, the roots are 1 and negative 4. Now let us check if our answers are correct. We will gonna substitute the values of x in the original equation. 2x squared plus 8x minus 10 is equal to 0. If x is equal to 1, let us substitute x is equal to 1 in the original equation, and we will have 2 times 1 squared plus 8 times 1 minus 10 is equal to 0. Then 2 plus 8 minus 10 is equal to 0, and 0 is equal to 0. Therefore, 1 is a correct root of 2x squared plus 8x minus 10 is equal to 0. How about the second root, which is negative 5? Let us now substitute negative 5 to 2x squared plus 8x minus 10 is equal to 0. So 2 times negative 5 squared plus 8 times negative 5 minus 10 is equal to 0. So 50 minus 40 minus 10 is equal to 0. And then 0 is equal to 0. Therefore, 1 and negative 5 are the roots of 2x squared plus 8x minus 10 is equal to 0. Now, to test if you really understand this topic, try this now. Find the roots of x squared minus 2x minus 80 is equal to 0 using completing the square. You may pause this video and then answer, then unpause it to know if your answer is correct. So let us now answer. X squared minus 2x minus 80 is equal to 0. X squared minus 2x is equal to 80. X squared minus 2x plus 1 is equal to 80 plus 1. So x minus 1 quantity squared is equal to 81. Then extract the square root, or we have square root of x minus 1 quantity squared is equal to square root of 81. So x minus 1 is equal to positive or negative 9. Then x is equal to positive or negative 9 plus 1. So x is equal to 9 plus 1, and the first root is x is equal to 10. X is equal to negative 9 plus 1, and the second root is x is equal to negative 8. And that is all for this video. I hope you enjoy and learn many things in this video. Again, this is Sir King, wishing you to have a great day. Goodbye!